Hello everyone in Cyber World. Welcome back to another video. I'm Jennifer, aka Mrs. Poorman.
And I'm Richard, also known as Mr. Poorman.
And today we're going to introduce our video from Kualoa Regional Park.
As we mentioned last week, this week we've got a special project that she doesn't know about.
What kind of special project was it?
Well, as I mentioned, this was a special project that I made a Christmas gift for Mrs. Poorman, and this is what we did.
I started off this fun project by selecting from some exotic woods I had on hand. I then cut some boards and planed them down to size. Yes, I taped up my workbench because I was going to be doing a lot of gluing. So let the gluing begin. I only had a limited amount of clamps, so thanks to this project I went out and bought some more. After the boards dried, I did use the planer, then I added frog tape to prevent tear out on my miter saw. I don't have a dado stack, so I ran the board over and over through my table saw to create a rabbit. Which turned out like this. I then cut pieces for the sides of the box I was making. After cutting the ends of each piece, I ran the boards through the table saw to create grooves where the back would be installed. And now for the favorite sanding, and as always, I went from 80 grit all the way up to 3000 grit. And now comes the time to assemble the box. Now I get to play with glue again. Who doesn't enjoy doing that? And now finally a chance to play with all my new clamps. I prepared my table saw to cut the box in half, and unbelievably, I forgot to record when I was cutting the box. Obviously, I didn't clamp the box properly because I found this gap when I cut it in half. No big, I cut some slivers, added into the gap, shaved it off, sanded it down, and good as new. I wanted to personalize this with Mrs. Poorman's initials, so I got a hold of some balsa wood, covered it with frog tape to prevent tear out, and then printed out the initials with my Cricut. Unfortunately, the machine didn't cut the initials out all the way, so I had to do some manually. I then prepped everything for epoxy. And applied the first thin layer coat. After it dried, I used 240 grit sandpaper to get rid of the bubbles that were formed. Next came the heavy flood coat of epoxy. Because I don't have a router, I had to create a mortise on my own using a chisel, and boy was this wood hard. The mortise came out perfect, so I was able to install my hinges. I then added felt to the inside of the case. Next, I marked and drilled holes for magnets that would be used to hold the case shut. I then marked where I would be placing the hooks. I then pre-drilled holes for the screws that I would be adding. And then I spent what felt like years adding all the screws. Because the case would be opened and closed so frequently, I decided to use French cleats to hold it to the wall securely. And now for the final touch-up. Just in case she didn't like the case, I had a couple items that I knew she would like, just to make sure she had a good Christmas. And here is how it turned out.
Oh my goodness, honey. Holy moly. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh, how beautiful. Oh my gosh. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. You're gonna make me cry.
Welcome back.
We hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you do, remember, please subscribe down below.
Okay. For next week, we've got a little bit of an unusual video. I've gotten some requests from people that viewed something that we did in the past that I didn't do a good job explaining how we did it. It has to do with the stair flooring that we installed on the stairs. So I'm just going to do a quick video explaining how we did it so that people can replicate it, because apparently they're interested in that. So until then,
Bye-bye.
bye.